This
good.
conference will now be recorded.
So you
Are you guys all doing your lab, right? And all of you finished? And that's something I need to check if you are finishing up all the labs or not from the classroom. That's extremely important because by the time we arrive in the data engineering, where our focus will be much more coordinated and all that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you guys need to have the foundation built. Again, I mentioned that in another class, I think over the weekend. What we are doing now in these 2 weeks, you are building the foundation. Okay. So upon this foundation, now you'll be building the data engineering, data use cases, which will be focusing a lot. If you are weak here, then the whole thing will be, fall apart. So I would suggest any with respect to storage, ELB, basic EC2 instance, creation, managing all that stuff, right? Then you will have networking and other stuff. Be very good at that. Okay, although you will not be working as a platform engineer, but the foundation should be good. Okay, that's the goal. Okay.
So we'll say copy that. Probably you can keep it in the browser.
Yeah. They did.
Yeah. The machine is up and running, right?
Yeah. My machine is running.
Yeah.
Let me. Okay.
Enter.
Yeah, it's coming. Oh, good. It's coming. It's coming now.
Okay.
Yeah. The second server. This is the Ubuntu instance created. My internet was down also. Yeah, it's coming. Both are coming. So, and I connected with the load balancer.
Okay.
Test with the and I have added both of these instances with the load balancer target.
Okay.
Now I have to check with my load balance whether it's flipping with the both server, right?
Correct. Yes.
So here
You should copy the DNS name. The bottom page. You can copy that also. Yeah.
okay. We test it here.
Hey, good evening. Shivam.
Hey, Shiva.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go and check the target group. Yeah, click on the listeners otherwise.
Added HTTP 80.
I think the security group issue. Okay. Forwarding. Yeah, Shiva, you can continue.
Yeah.
Winter time. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe Mirza, we can connect after the class to
Yeah,
just resolve your issue. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stop sharing. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Shiva, you can.
Yeah,
Recording
sure,
is in
Vijay.
progress, Shivam, so you can continue. Okay. And
Yeah, sure.
few folks also had some issues. They even thought it is 7 o'clock, so some people probably could join, but that's okay. I just let them know. So
Oh, sure. So we'll just recap whatever we did yesterday, basically. So first was we created a ALB and checked how the connection was balanced between the two
Stop
instances.
Visa to see what.
yeah.
Yeah.
You need to mute the other side.
Come back.
Mute.
मैं तो
mute.
हाँ
Okay. So can we continue now? Okay, am I audible?
Yes, Subham.
Yeah, okay. So yesterday what we did, basically we created an ALB and checked how the connection was balanced uh, between uh, two EC2 instances. So if you recall, we had created two instances where exactly which were behind the your application load balancer, and when we shut down the one instance, the connection was going only to the first instance. It was not going to the second instance, right? So that is how your health check and how your ALB is basically working. Okay. So today we'll see one more thing for how to create an AMI and launch instance using your AMI, right? So last time when we discussed about AMI, when we were creating the instance, we saw that AMI is what? AMI is nothing but a template with which a new instance can be formed. So what we will do is let us create one AMI, right? So if you see this, our server, serve B, which we had created, so which is basically 3.2. You can see we have installed HTTP server over here, right? So my HTTP server is running, correct? Now, suppose if I need to create multiple web servers without installing HTTP every time we are creating a new instance. So what we have to do is we need to basically create an AMI of the current existing system. So what we will do is surf P is there, so we can simply go to actions and we can, images and templates, and then we can simply say create an image. Okay, so this screen will come up. Once this screen will come up, we can give an image name. So let us say we give a screen image name as web server AMI, and this is an optional thing, image description. So we can simply write web server, and here it will show basically what all instances are mapped to your EC2 instance. So this particular EBS is mapped to your EC2 instance. So but if you want to add any other volume, you can do that from here also. But for now, for because of the testing purposes, we are not using this particular thing. Whatever the default uh, volume is there, we will just use that. Okay, so I'll just add a tag. Tag is nothing but a label, so that for us to easily identify why exactly we had created this particular AMI. Okay, we will create that. So if I go over here, so see this is status is in pending state. So this is just, it is still creating the AMI. And see, this is my new AMI ID. And this is the name which we have given, web server AMI for testing. So it may take a while. What we can do till that time is we can see so we'll see snapshot. So What is a snapshot? A snapshot is basically point in time copy. So it is as if you are picking up your camera and clicking an image of whatever the operating system state as in. So that is called a snapshot. So a snapshot is nothing but basically it is used for your backups. So it is basically a strategy to have the backup of your system. Okay, we will just check after the AMI how to create the snapshot as well. And snapshot normally work. The first snapshot we take basically is the complete full snapshot. And subsequent snapshots are basically the delta. Delta means whatever was not captured earlier. So this is what your snapshots are. And this is basically a way also where exactly, suppose, see, any good strategy about a production server uh, is only is basically incomplete unless and until you plan a proper backup strategy. So there are various different ways to take a backup of a particular EC2 instance. One of them and the most trusted way is basically taking a snapshot of the of your application servers or any server for that matter. So normally people what do is they create a snapshot on a regular interval. Okay, so you can basically schedule the snapshot also. And then see, ultimately when you are creating a snapshot, there may be a time when you are basically having multiple snapshots of a same particular volume or your instance. Then basically what you need to do is you need to basically put some retention period on that. So retention period is nothing, which basically means uh, till how long your that snapshot is available. So which, for an example, let us say if I have created an image, if I created a snapshot say on 1st of Jan 2021, right, and I say the retention period is basically 2 days. So if the retention period is 2 days, then your snapshot will expire at what day? It will expire on 3rd of Jan. Am I clear till this point? Are there any questions on this?
Yeah, so the question with the snapshot when you were saying actually taking the backup of the data plus the software installed in that instances is keeping everything over there, or what exactly it's when you say that it's capturing the snapshots, only capturing the data and
Yes. So basically it is just capturing the data.
okay.
So for an example, let us say you have a EBS volume where exactly say data is stored in this format in the first block. So basically it is a block level thing. So your storage or EBS volume is basically divided into different blocks. Okay, so in different blocks the data is getting stored. So what snapshot will do is it will basically just take the picture of all the blocks which are written or which are dirty blocks. And that is how basically it will come to know what exactly the data is and how to restore that EBS particular volume. Okay, does this answer the question?
Yeah, it's got it. Thank you.
Okay, let us see our
Yes,
AMI
Shubham,
also.
this is Ram.
Yeah, Ram, tell me.
Yeah, I was just wondering that there is a VM backup that people do in the on-premises, right? That is equivalent
Yes.
to this snapshot, or is it different?
Yeah, so VM backup is also basically a snapshot if you are talking about ESX or VMware. So if you're talking about that, then basically, yes, they are taking this type of snapshot only, but it is not called as snapshot. It is called just a VM backup. And the terminology is different, basically.
Okay, here in what you are showing now, the snapshot means snapshot of instance, right? So yes,
Yes.
and
So snapshot of the EBS volumes, the EBS volumes which are attached to your instances.
okay, it may be data or whatever is stored on the volume, right?
Correct. So if there are multiple volumes you have attached to the EC2 instance, let us say you have say two volumes. One is basically for the root volume and another is for your application volume. So if you are creating a backup for both the things, then basically what will happen is it will take snapshot of both your volumes. Volume A for root and volume B for application. Does
So
it make
suppose
sense?
you want to recover a particular file of the 2 days back snapshot,
Yes.
that is the purpose of this one, right?
Exactly. So basically what we need to do in case of a recovery, okay, I'll just show you then. It will be very easy. So let us first, so currently there is this one snapshot which we have not created. I'll just tell you why exactly this is created. Uh, and then I'll click on create snapshot, say volume and instance. So both the things I can create. So if I select an instance, then basically whatever the volumes are attached to a particular instance, that will get created. And this is a checkbox where exactly you can exclude the root volume. See, normally the best practice says that you do not store any application or data related files on your root volume. That is the main volume or C drives sort of thing. Everything has to be on a separate file system altogether. So now what we have to do is it has to be because we do not want to waste more space. So that is why we are just taking the application snapshot. So now when you will take the snapshot, what will happen, and if you have to recover, then you need to create a new EBS volume from the snapshot. Okay, so let us say I want to create the snapshot of this instance. And I'll simply say create snapshot. So see, this is in pending state. By that time, let us go to our AMIs. So this AMI is ready now. So now it means if you recall when we were creating the instance, we basically were selecting an AMI like this. When we were saying large instances, we were selecting one AMI, right? Now, if you click on my AMIs, you can see this web server AMI is also there. This is the one which we have created just now. Okay. And it is still not shared with anyone. This is my own personal AMI. So if I select this, and click on next configure instance details, see this is the storage which it has picked up from your earlier instance itself when you have created the AMI. If you want, you can again attach new volumes. If you do not want, we can simply click on next add tags, and then we can add tags over here, name, and we can give web server from AMI. security groups. Now all the process will remain same as we have discussed earlier about creating an instance. Only thing is this time you are using your own AMI instead of some marketplace AMI. Is this clear?
Yeah. Subham, any volume size is any limited volume size or it's not limited?
Yeah. So basically, for Linux systems as such, there is a upper limit of one volume can be around 16 terabytes, 16,
Okay.
and you can attach, I think, maximum 416 terabytes volume in an instance. The downside of having a very huge volume on attached to your instance is you need to have that much processing power on your instance, or else it will not be able to handle the IOPS for that particular volume. See, ultimately, whatever the hard EBS volume you are having, you are trying to write something on top of it, and you are trying to read something from it, correct? And
Yes.
as your EBS volume keeps growing, let us say it has reached up to 16 terabyte, then it will require that much of computation power to read that particular thing also, because it needs to read that number of blocks to find a specific block which you are trying to read. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, great. Does this answer your question?
Yes.
So now this is basically what uh, the instance is getting created, web server from my AMI. So what we did for creating an instance, AMI of our web server, then we created an instance using our own AMI. We can find own AMI from what is this called? Your my AMIs page when we click on launch instance. Or we can click on AMI under image in left hand menu and create instance from there. So if you go over here and say this AMI is there, right, under images, you can go and click on AMIs. You can select the AMI and you can simply say launch. It will directly pick up and it will just give you a choose an instance type, and then you can create the instance as we have discussed earlier. Is this clear? Okay. think it is clear. Guys, please ask me questions if you have any concerns or if you are not able to understand or follow anything.
Um, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Considering that we are using an on-demand instance, for example, is there a means of automating a process where we can actually have like the Apache web server hosted each time that the instance is started?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a means whereby we can automate that process within the console?
So, if I understand correctly, your question is basically how to start the web server automatically once your instance is up. Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. So there are different commands for different operating systems. So for Linux also there is one command which is called systemctl. Okay. So suppose if you need to start any service for a Linux server, so to auto start service on starting, if you need to auto start the service on starting of any instance or any server or having Red Hat Linux based systems, Red Hat based operating system, then basically you can use systemctl command. Systemctl enable and the command name, your application name. But before you have the application name over here, you need to ensure that that service is already created. So it is altogether a different topic. But if you want, I can tell you separately. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
no
Okay.
problem. So let us see where our instances. Yeah, so status check is not 2 by 2. Just check web server AMI. So this is the IP address. Let us connect to this instance and see uh, whether I have a web server over here or not. So what do you think? Will it have some web server running on top of it or not?
Yes, it should.
Yeah, we will have. That is why we have created an AMI with that particular application. So see my systemctl status when I give. So this is a basically to check if your service is running or not. So if you see, it is currently disabled and active. This is inactive or dead service right now. So what we can do to start the services, we can simply say systemctl start httpd. And now if I check the status, my web server is running. And also if I want, I can go over here and give the IP address to start the instance or to check if my web page is available or not. So see, My web server is running on a new instance altogether. Correct? And because if you recall, we have created an AMI out of server B, and we had created one page for server B where exactly we had put this is server B. Now, if you see this, I'm also getting this is server B, even though I have not created any web page for this server explicitly. Sorry, able to follow this?
Yes. One another question: can we not just SSH using the EC2 Instant Connect?
Sorry, I did not get your question.
If we cannot SSH using the EC2 Instant Connect?
Okay, EC2 is connect. Yeah, you can use that also. So what you can do is you can do connect, and then either you can go through session manager also if you SSH session manager also if you have the proper role attached to your instance, or you can use SSH client, and in SSH client it will give you all the steps where exactly or how exactly you have to connect to the instance. So it is also saying that giving you the same instructions: open an SSH client, locate your private key file, the key used to launch this instance is this, run this command, connect to your instance using its public DNS name, example SSH -i, this, right?
Okay.
Understood, huh? Okay.
So, Subham, for example, in my server B, if you have some text file, right, instead of that web page, when you create the AMI, the text file also will be copied
Yes,
to the,
anything which is on your anything and everything which is on your instance will be
like
copied
all,
with the instance.
I see. The hardware configuration and the software
Not the hardware
install.
configuration. Not the hardware configuration. Hardware configuration because you choosing when you're creating an
Uh,
instance.
got it, got it. You giving your own, yeah, own machine aside, but the
Correct.
AMI, all the
Correct.
software install and all the all the software install and all the data file there, everything copied.
Correct. Whatever you have on the instance, let us say under root also you have created, you have made some changes on your say creating a you have created new users, or you have added new users on the Linux instance, and then if you create an AMI, then also you will get the same users and groups in the AMI itself, and whenever you launch a new instance using that AMI, you will have those users and groups available with you.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, actually, can we say this is the duplicate of that, previous one? That old.
Yes, this is a duplicate, but this is not a duplicate instance. This is just a AMI or the operating system image. That is what it is.
Okay.
Right? Is it clear, or you have some confusion on this?
So, like we can say that it's a duplicate of that configuration, whatever we have made, we have created
Correct.
for the old instances.
Yes. And I think somebody was asking the question how we can ensure that the service is running when the server has come up. So I can use this command over here: system ctl enable httpd. Right now, if I restart this system now, so earlier we saw that my httpd server service was not running, but now I have again restarted the server, and let us see if the instance, when it comes up, does it start the web server or not. Okay.
Oh, I was just listening, but anyway, so you guys know this command, right? System ctl enable httpd. So internally it creates a entry in the reboot or wherever it is, so that when the system comes up, that service gets started. Okay, you don't have to manually start it. Just like when you start your Windows, your standard services get started. You don't have to start it, right? If you go to control panel, right, there are many services you can start manually, but you don't have to do that for everything, right? For example, there are quite a few services in your Windows, right? They are auto enabled. So that's what, by issuing this command, you're auto enabling those services, HTTPD, which is a web service, right? Which will automatically start. So other thing are image, right? I think your laptop image, you install a few things. You want to create an image. Image means you copy that image to a hard disk and take it. Maybe in your home you have 5 other laptops. You want to copy that thing to other 5 laptops. So then you don't have to log into each laptop and build again and again, right? You create one, copy to every other laptops, right? So that's very easy, and that's what is AMI is. Okay, just in case you are not getting what is AMI. Okay, all right, you guys can continue. Yeah.
So now if I just check the status of my service, systemctl status HTTPD, I can see my the service is still running. Okay. So this is how basically the service is started automatically while the system is coming up or while it is getting started. Okay. So we had created this one snapshot. Now, when we were creating a new snapshot, we saw that there is something called web server AMI for testing, and it has created by create image. This. Some details are there. So how exactly this snapshot is created? So the process is like this. Whenever we create an AMI, in the background, automatically a snapshot is created, and from that snapshot, an executable copy is created, which is called an AMI. Now, is this fine? You able to understand? Okay, no answers means we are good. Go. Now, why exactly snapshot is needed? So that we can just select that snapshot and we create a volume. So I can go to actions and click on create volume. And I can change the size also. I can change the availability zone also. All those things we can do. So why exactly this is required? Because when a new volume is created, suppose we have lost some file, some important file, and there is a snapshot available, some initially whatever snapshot we have taken. So what we can do is we can create create a volume from that particular snapshot, map it to the new instance, mount it as a new file system, and then basically copy the file to wherever it is required. Okay. Is that clear, or you need any more clarifications on this topic? Guys, you there?
Speak up if you were confused. Okay.
So, and the good practice is okay, let us do one thing so that we all are clear on what we are doing. So let us say these files, this is how exactly my current volume looks like, or the operating system looks like. So let us create some files on this. I'll say make dir test dir. Then I say, okay, I'll create some files on top of this. Test dir a1, a3, a6, a8. So there are some files within this directory. If you see, so there is something called test dir. Under test dir, if you'll see, there are certain files are there: a1, a2, a3, a6, a8. Right now, let us say a user by mistake deletes one file. Let us say a1, it has removed, and it is a very important file. Now, if you can see, there is no file a1. What you have to do? Basically, what you will do is, let us okay, let us create first this thing. Suppose this is your system. Currently, you have all the files available: a1, a3, a6, and a8, whatever you have created. Now, if somebody has created a snapshot, let us create a snapshot and then see. So I'm just creating a snapshot for now, and then we will try to restore that file. Okay, how many of you have practiced creating an instance or whatever we discussed in the last classes? Created a ELB and then worked on that.
Yes, that's right.
So all of you were able to do that? Yes or no?
So yeah, I have able to create the two instances and load the the web file, and also ELB attached with the target instances. But somehow my load balancers application load balancer is not working, so that was I just will work with you later.
Okay. Maybe after the class we can sit for 10-15 minutes and then see to it. Is that fine?
Yeah, thank you.
Now this snapshot is created. So now what we will do is we will remove one file. Or let us say, okay. Now these are some important files which are now removed. We have only A6 and A8 available to them. Now what you have to do, how to recover this file? So what we will do is, we will select the snapshot which was created before the incident happened, click on that, and then actions, and create a volume. Guys, please stop me if I'm going too fast or too slow, or you are not able to follow me. Okay. So if you go to volumes now, this new volume will be getting created now. New server volume. So this is available. Once a volume is in available state, you can attach this volume to any server whichever you want. So we can select this new server volume, click on actions, and then say attach volume. And we have to select our instance. Let us say web server from AMI. This is where we have to do the recovery. Instance ID is already there, and it has come up with dev SDF. So dev SDF is basically nothing where exactly your new volume is mapped. This place is called dev SDF in the operating system. So let us say attach. Now you can see this is in use right now. So where exactly is my new volume or a new hard disk which we have attached to the instance? So you can run one command which is called lsblk.
So LSBLK means list the blocks. Okay, list the.
Yes.
Okay, LS
Block
is
device.
listing. Yeah, block device. So these are some of
This
the
is the
few
block
commands.
device.
You don't need to be expert in it, but it's okay to know very basics, which will help us. Okay. Yeah, continues.
Okay. So now we can see this block device is over here, XVDF. So what we have to do is we have to mount it somewhere else. So how to mount it? We need to simply say mount -t xfs. This is a mount command syntax. Sorry. So simply we have to mount this. Just give me a minute.
Do you need to format that directory?
No, format if you will do, then everything will go off.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, correct.
it is
When
already having a file system on top of it, right?
yes. If we created a new, then yeah.
Yes, then you have to.
Yeah.
But if it is already there, then you do not have to.
Correct.
CDF.
Mhm.
XVDF1. Geez, the mount point is not there. Wrong FS type. Why wrong FS type? Okay, let me check. Exactly, it is K2. Okay, I need to check this. Why exactly this is giving a bad super block? Bad super block basically means that there is some issue while mounting the root volume onto this operating system. Okay, this I'll check and get back to you. Not sure why it is giving this. So you guys now clear about EC2 and what snapshots are and what AMIs are? Or are there any questions? So if you can just confirm so that we can start with the new topic then.
Yes, Subhan.
Yeah, tell me.
This is Ram. The question is, I'm trying to create an instance, but on the storage need, it should not be less than 30 GB, right? The
Yes.
size. Okay. So it's not going to
No,
charge
not
anything
less
for
than 30 GB. It can be anything. There is whatever the minimum operating system requires. That is the minimum size of the volume you can have while creating an instance. And maximum you can give go up to 16 terabyte at least for GP2 volumes.
because I tried to create less, put 10 GB, but it's not accepting that. So minimum
Yeah.
I need to give 30 GB because I choose Windows AMI, so that's why.
Okay. Good thing. Let us. Can you share your screen, Ram? Yeah, you have the presentation rights, Ram. Can you please show?
So if I give a 1 GB, something like that, and then
So 1 GB obviously you cannot give because 1 GB you cannot give because the Windows operating system or for that matter Linux, if you are choosing, it may take up to, for Linux it may take up to 2 to 5 GB, and for Windows it may take up to 20-25 GB
so
depending
by
on the
default it's
operating system.
giving me 30 GB, so I can leave it like this, right?
Yeah, you can put it as 30 GB, yes.
Okay.
And then you can click on review and launch, and automatically it will launch.
One
Is it
second.
clear now?
Yeah. And then next to tag, I don't need to do this configure security group. I don't need to do that, right?
The config security group, yes, you have to configure every time with your instance because that is like a personal firewall.
So what I'm doing is correct.
Yes. Only thing is you can create a new security group or an existing security group you can check and then provide the values of the firewall rules as whatever you like.
Now let's review and launch. So what I have to do here, you have to get a new key pair or post.
If you have an existing key pair, you can select the existing key pair. If you want to create a new key pair, you can select that new key pair and then download that key.
So I is successful. Yeah.
And click on this instance ID. So it will take a while, around 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the operating system you have chosen. Is it fine now? Can we
I'm
move
just
ahead?
refreshing. It's initializing at.
Yes. This is a Windows instance.
I just create a Windows instance. Yeah.
Okay. I think let us see how you are connecting to this also. Just refresh the page until you see 2 by 2 statistic passed.
One question.
Yeah.
Here we are creating that. I mean, we are using the same keeper, right? If you are creating the different key pair for
Yeah.
one of the instance, right? So I have to use the same key pair for that instance. I cannot use that. I mean, if I'm using that wrong one, it will not be successful, right?
Yes. So basically, key pair is nothing like your is basically if I have to give an analogy, it is like a key you a
Giving the
lock
dot.
which you pay. Yeah, a lock basically which you put outside your door, and key is something which you keep it with yourself. So now what happens is, if you are having a correct key, then only the lock will open, else it will not open.
Mm-hmm. So if I lost that key pair, I mean, somehow, so can it be recovered or?
No, it cannot be recovered. Then basically what you need to do is, you need to create a new key pair and then attach to the instance.
Okay, we can. I mean, we can do that, right? We can create a new key pair for the same instance which we have created previously.
Yes.
That's good.
So what does it mean by initializing? It's still running.
Yeah, just refresh the page, please.
I did twice.
That will take some time. Now see, it is 2 by 2. Can you select the instance, please?
Click on this one.
No. On the checkbox, left hand side. Okay. I scroll down. See, you can see something called status checks. Just next to storage and before monitoring. Third from the right. Third from the right. On that menu itself, third from the right. Status checks is there, no? Just next to storage, after storage. So basically, status checks is nothing but these are the two system checks. One is the system status check. A system status check basically means the hardware on which your instance is hosted on, and the instance status check basically whether whether you are able to reach to your instance or not. So that is what these two status check means. And if any one of them fails, then basically you need to reboot to recover, or you need to create a new instance and give it to the user. Okay. Now this Windows instance is launched. How can we connect to a Windows instance? So basically what you need to do is, see, scroll up please.
Scroll up on the left side.
Oh no, on the main where your instance is written, test instance 1. Scroll up. So no, the top menu, the first menu basically, I'm not able to see it. So just click on this connect on the top, connect. Now see, this is basically how you have to connect. So click on an RDP client. So this is a download remote desktop file. So either you can directly download the remote desktop file, or what you can do is on the command prompt. Ram, you are having a Windows system or a what system?
I do have Windows.
Okay, so just open the this menu and then you click on or type mstsc on the Windows thing. That run comes now.
So you want to download the desktop file, or
No, just click on the Windows icon on your left hand side base
you
bar.
want to remote desktop?
Yeah, mstsc. Okay, mstsc. C.
MS.
ms T as in train, S as in Singapore, C as in Charlie. Okay. Now give this IP address 3.141. No, you cannot copy paste because there is a hyphen in between. You need to change that.
This is correct, or I need to EC2?
No, you have to remove the hyphen in between and put the
Oh,
dots.
colon, right?
No,
Dot.
not colon, full stops.
Dot. Yeah.
Just click on connect. So have you enabled your security group to accept the RDP connection?
I need to check. I didn't do my laptop. I
Okay,
need to do that.
go to your instance. Scroll up, please. Scroll up.
Instance.
Yeah, so click on the security tab below. Scroll down. Click on the security group. So this is allowing only for SG this. So scroll up a little bit, please. So click on the security group. Yeah. Scroll down. Click on edit inbound rules.
One second.
Click on edit inbound rules on the right hand side. On the traffic, select RDP. The type is there now.
Yeah, because the go-to meeting is overtaking that my screen. Give me.
Okay, then in the source give my IP address. Scroll down and click on save rules. Okay, now use the RDP or MSTSC to basically launch your instance. See, it is asking for password, but in Windows you have not created any username for you, correct? So what you need to do is go to instance.
Okay.
Okay. Click on actions on the top. Scroll down. Should be connect. Click on connect once more. Sorry. Click on the RDP client. Scroll down. Click on get password. So upload your key pair, whatever you have downloaded from this machine while creating this machine, basically.
I think I create this keypad.
Yeah, have you found that key?
Yeah, I have that key I stored in a notepad.
No, don't do like this. Save it somewhere. And see, it is coming as .txt, which will basically invalidate your key. You need to give it as test key .pm as is. You do not have to change any extension for that.
Yeah. So
Sorry, click on file, save as.
okay, sorry. So you can see my desktop, right? This
Yes.
is the key
Click on file, save as. Just type test key .pem. Remove txt. Remove txt from file name and put inverted commas at the front and in the back of this thing.
What do you say?
Inverted comma test key.pm, double inverted commas.
You want to put a comma?
Say the quotations.
Oh, quotation. Okay.
Yeah.
This one.
No, this is exclamation mark.
Let me see. What is the quotation?
A double
One.
Ram, it's double quotes.
quotes, yes.
Oh, double quotes. Okay, sorry.
On the starting of the file name also.
Okay.
And save this.
Now we have to save the all files. Something.
No. Do not do anything. Just save this like this.
Okay, let's see the path here.
Or click on your desktop so that it is easy for you to find. Okay. Scroll down. Decrypt password. So this is your the administrator password. On the
Okay.
left hand side, just copy this. There is a copy button on the left side of this thing. Yeah. Copy. Now go to your RDP. And click on more choices. Use a different account. No, not like this. /administrator.
Oh, backslash.
First dot and then /, which is on the tilted on the left hand side.
I'm doing correct.
Other slash.
The other one.
Okay.
Yeah, and type administrator. And give the password. Click on OK. Click on yes.
Okay.
So this is how you connect to a Windows instance.
Okay.
And then if you want, you can create more users into the operating system, or if you want, you can create or you can attach your instance in to some a domain server or Active Directory, and then you can use your domain credentials to log into this machine.
Great. So I can install some application too here, right, on the Windows here?
Yes, anything as you can install on your local laptop or any server for that matter, Windows server. Same things you can do on this instance itself.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
that's great. Yeah.
Let us continue then. So we'll see something which is called, okay, before we move ahead, are we clear on everything for EC2 or you have some confusion anywhere?
Just one question, Subhan, that you talk about the snapshot and then I ask about retrieving a particular file. You went to the command prompt to do that. We can't do it in the front GUI. In the GUI, you can't do that. The same thing.
No, GUI you cannot do that.
Okay,
Linux
so you need
basically
to come to.
normally, yeah, Linux is basically mostly on your command line itself. For Windows, you can obviously do that. That is not a problem.
Okay.
But at least for Linux, most of the things are through command line itself.
So you can browse the file in the volume.
No, you cannot browse the file. You have to attach the volume on the system, mount it, and then you can do that.
Okay.
This one. Hmm. So I'll just check that why exactly or what exactly issue it is giving, and then I'll let you know. Okay. This I have to check and then let you know. Anything apart from this? Okay, this I'll check and let you know why exactly this is giving issue. Apart from this, do you have any other questions? We are good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So EC2 instances for which we are going to take the snapshot, and the snapshot volume supposed to be in the same availability zone or could be different.
Yes. So one thing is basically it has to be or the volume which you are attaching to the instance, both have to be in the same availability zone. It simply means that suppose if you have a snapshot or a volume created in US East 1A, you cannot attach it to any other instance which is outside of US East 1A. It has to be within US East 1A itself. Okay.
I had a quick question, Shubham.
Yes, please.
While we were creating that snapshot, right? There were two ways we could create that snapshot. One is via the volume way, and another one is via the instance way. We took up the
Why
instance
that?
way route.
Sorry, what is
Sorry?
the second one?
Via the instance route and via the volume route. There were two options given to us, right?
Okay.
While we were creating the snapshot. It's
So this
not
is your.
a checkbox, but it was a radio button for us to choose.
So from here you are saying actions, and then images and templates, and then create an
Right.
image.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. While creating an image.
Hmm.
Okay.
So image is basically for AMI. Image is not for a snapshot.
No, I think he's talking about when you create a snapshot, there was two. If you go to the,
Got
if
it.
you
Got
go
it.
to the snapshot,
And when we are
Now
saying
create a
create star, then
snapshot.
it is
Yeah.
going for your
yeah,
volume and
this is what,
instance.
yeah.
Right. This is what I was saying. And
So
while
because
I
when you are
create,
selecting the instance, so
yeah,
it means that whatever all the volumes which are attached to a particular instance, those all will get snapshot.
correct. And so my question is, while you are trying to basically retrieve the important files which have been deleted by one particular user, let's assume the A1, A2, and A3 you said got deleted. Why were we trying to create another volume out of the snapshot instead of just attaching the meaning attaching the snapshot instead of in its entirety back again, because we have that particular snapshot already ready. Why
Correct.
would you need to create a volume on top
Okay.
of it?
So snapshot, as we told earlier, it is a very less bulky thing for your volume. It is just a point in time copy. So you cannot directly attach a snapshot to an instance. We can attach volume created from snapshot to an instance, but not vice versa. You cannot attach a snapshot directly to the instance. We need to first create a volume, and then only volume can be attached to the instance. That is how it goes.
Okay. So instance is basically a snapshot of it at a one given point in time. But that one given point in time basically should encompass everything in that instance, right? If I created it,
It is
I
not
have the
instance. We
data
are
for
creating a
1 year.
snapshot of an instance. We are not creating instance of a snapshot. We are creating snapshot of an instance.
Okay.
See there. Okay. Let us take this example. In a corporate world, companies give you laptops, right?
Yeah.
So they have Windows OS, and then there's some proprietary softwares. Let us say MS Office will be installed, some developer workbench may be there, some MySQL client will be there, and all those things are pre-installed. So
Correct.
what they normally do is they basically put up everything on your base Windows image, and then
Correct. It's
create an
called an
image out of
image. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that is an image. Now a snapshot is just a backup. So you from the image or from the instance which is launched, you just create a backup of that particular volume which is attached to that instance. And then snapshot needs to be mounted as a volume before any file can be retrieved or before any file system recovery can be done from that. Still
Okay.
confusing?
So image I understood, right? As you mentioned, giving the example of in a corporate world where they want to just push a particular image out. I'm still a little, instance is still basically a snapshot or an image of a particular data or a set of what do you call
AMI?
files, DMIs, yeah.
Okay.
And
So
volume is what? I am kind of a little, volume seems to be the same as the instance, but you are saying that volume carries more data into
Okay,
it.
understood your point. So you have a laptop, Within laptop, you have some hard disk, correct?
Right.
Laptop is equivalent to your instance, and hard disk is equal to your EBS volume.
Okay, my laptop, when I take a snapshot of my laptop, the volume also comes along with it, right? Meaning my hard disk also comes along with it.
Not hard disk comes along with it. It is only hard disk which is basically getting snapshotted.
Correct. So
the real
the entire
normal,
hard disk gets snapshotted, which is, if it has 100 files, the 100 files are there in that particular instance, right?
into that snapshot.
Right. Into that snapshot, right? Understood.
Correct. So fine now.
Now the volume is also the same thing. It should have 100 files in there when I take a.
Once it is a snapshot, you cannot directly mount a snapshot on an instance.
So the mounting only happens on the volume front, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yes.
Okay. So I cannot mount.
Have you heard about net backup software?
Sorry?
Have you heard about net backup software?
No. Can you elaborate?
Okay. Have you heard about Legato or any other thing for that matter?
No.
Okay, that is fine, no problem. These are basically just backup softwares. So whenever you want to take any backup, you use these softwares to take a backup. And after that, basically you just restore from those volume. So a snapshot directly you cannot do anything because it is a very lightweight file. It has to, you need to convert it to a volume before you can recover anything from that.
Okay. So mounting always happens on the volume, never on the on the snapshot per se.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other thing in EC2 before we move ahead with any other thing, other topics? Okay, I think we all are good now. See, EC2 is a very essential service of AWS because it is an infrastructure as a request service. So you need to be very thorough with EC2 instance. What exactly it means, what are AMIs, what are snapshots, how are snapshots used, right? Or how are how basically AMI is used. So all those things you have to see. There are other things also which you can basically check on your own, basically encrypting the volumes. So how do you encrypt the volumes? How to attach it to the operating system and then see. And likewise, you can do that. Okay. Okay, let us start a new topic now. Quickly run it through so that we can at least complete some bit and maybe lab we can do tomorrow. Guys, I am going too fast or too slow. Can you please let me know? Accordingly, I can manage my speed.
This is good.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, the next topic basically is alert and monitoring. What do you think? What does alert and monitoring means? What, as per you, is basically the meaning of alert and monitoring? Okay, so
Alert is
basically,
like something like a security threat like that.
it can be security threat like that, but normally over here we are now not discussing security threats. So monitoring means basically monitoring the health of your system.
Suppose its threshold is more, what you are using,
Correct.
then alerts it can be set.
Exactly, that is what your platform will hold like. So basically what this means is, say you are running a web server, production web server, and suddenly clients started facing some slowness, and then ultimately they were unable to access the web services which are hosted on your AWS. So again, this will generate, if not much, then at least a little bit of revenue loss to them, because what has happened is the instance which they were using, or where exactly the web server logs were getting stored, they had reached to 100%. When they have reached the 100%, it means that there are no open logs in the area. Is it right? So monitoring means monitor a system, monitor an instance for particular resources, and then if it has crossed a certain limit, then raise an alert. So how can we raise an alert? By, say, uh, creating some SNS topic, we can send a mail to a specific users or a group of users saying that this particular server has crossed the threshold of, say, 70%. Okay, now let us see this. So the service which is used for alert and monitoring in AWS is called CloudWatch. So this basically what it does is it monitors the resources and the applications you run on AWS in real time. So as and or how exactly your uh, services are running, it will basically monitor those services. And you can use CloudWatch to collect and track metrics. Now, what are metrics? Which is basically some value associated with a particular performance benchmark. Let us say CPU is there, RAM is there, RAM utilization. So by default, there are 4 type of things which you can monitor using CloudWatch. One is basically disk IOPS, another is network in and out, the third part is CPU, and the fourth is your system. Fourth is your system settings. I'll just tell you that one also. So if you go to CloudWatch homepage, so CloudWatch homepage, where exactly this is? So you can go over here, click on services, and there is something called type CloudWatch. So this is the service which basically is used for monitoring and alerting. Right? There are certain alarms to this or metrics associated with it. So these are my different metrics which are available. Like for EC2 instance, we have these metrics are there. Status check feed. Network in and out, disk read bytes, read offs, write offs, network packet in, network packet out, CPU utilization, status check, metadata. So these are all things which you can monitor by default. It does not mean that you cannot monitor any other statistics, but for that you need to manually do certain things on the instance in order to monitor that. Okay. And what you can do is, once you have set a threshold limit, let us say you have set a threshold limit of, say, 60% or 70% in percentages, then as soon as your CPU utilization crosses that particular benchmark, then what will happen is it will automatically trigger an alarm. And what is an alarm? It is just not like your alarm clock or anything where exactly a very bad sound will come and you'll wake up and say that, okay, my servers are down. No, alarm is basically something which you through which you intimate the user that there is some issue in any of your server, which basically is like giving you a heads up saying that or basically a notification to you saying that this particular server is facing some issues, or maybe disk is getting full. So that is what it means. And as soon as basically the person or the administrator who is managing the server receives that message that there is some issue with a particular server, what it will do, it will directly log into the instance or check what is the root cause of it, and then accordingly try to resolve that. So for example, you can monitor the CPU usage and disk reads and writes for your EC2 instances, and then use this data to determine whether you should launch additional resources or instances to handle increased load. And we can also use this data to stop underused instances. So what this basically means is, suppose if I'm monitoring a CPU, right, for the threshold if it is breaching 70% or not. So actually what we are doing is we are monitoring this metrics data to find out whether my CPU is reaching 70% or not. So as soon as it will reach 70%, it will send you or text you or message you, whatever it is, alerting you saying that there is some problem with this XYZ server. And you will come back and then accordingly resolve that issue. That is how it works. And CloudWatch is a very powerful service which basically can give system-wide visibility into resource utilization. So it can look into your RDS also, it can look into EKS also, you can look into your EBS volumes also, all those things will be there. And how can you access CloudWatch? By any of the methods, like CloudWatch console. How can you log into console? Can you tell me how can you log into a console, AWS console? Am I audible or not?
AWS configure.
Sorry. How can I log into AWS console?
If you have got a
Is it
console user, if
Use
you
the
have created
password.
a console user,
yeah, user ID and password?
Password.
How do you use AWS CLI and CloudWatch APIs?
with secret keys and access key.
Correct. And yeah, so that is how basically you use different CloudWatch services. So this is how exactly CloudWatch works. So AWS, you can see that these are some different resources which uses CloudWatch. Hold on. Yeah, so these are resources that use CloudWatch. This can be EC2 instance, this can be your EBS volume, this can be your load balancer, this can be any other resource for that matter. Okay, and there are some custom data also. Custom data is nothing but the metrics which are not by default provided by AWS. Like say RAM utilization you want to check out. So RAM utilization by default AWS is not providing, but there are certain scripts which you can use to populate that data. And then these are different metrics which CloudWatch can monitor, like CPU percentage, how many hours it is running per week, what is the average CPU utilization, and likewise. And then there is called something called Amazon CloudWatch alarms, which basically send a notification, like I was telling you, to either to your email or to your through your SMS, saying that this particular thing is having an issue and you need to quickly look into it. But there may be scenarios where exactly, let us say you have a very new movie releasing, correct? A very some big superstar, maybe like say Tom Cruise or anyone, basically is having a movie launch. So what do you think if he says that okay, my movie is now releasing and you can book your tickets? So what do you think will happen to the billing kiosks or billing computers?
It will
It
crash.
will go, it will go in frenzy, and basically there will be so much users trying to access that data that it may get overwhelmed and your system will ultimately crash. It will not be able to perform anything for that matter, right? So that is why what they suggested is you can also look for a job, and then if you can look for a job, then obviously it will be easy for everything.
So this auto scaling feature, Shubham, is basically a self-healing, right? In case if it finds that, let's say, the CPU is in dire states, so will it basically put in more computational power to that beleaguered CPU, or any kind of, is this out of the box, or this also we will have to basically define what are the thresholds and how they scale
Correct, correct.
and unscale?
So all the blocks are given. Only thing is you need to use those blocks to create a solution of your own.
Oh, okay.
So not everything is out of the box, but you need to configure. Same way for auto scaling group goes. For auto scaling group, you basically firstly create something called a launch configuration, and from launch configuration you create auto scaling group, which means that suppose if a threshold is crossed, it will automatically uh, spin up a new instance, or it may decrease a new instance.
Got it.
Okay. Then this is something called CloudWatch, where exactly right now we have listened about CloudWatch, which basically monitors the system utilization. Then what if we have to monitor the APIs which are hitting the console, correct? There may be some malicious APIs also which are trying to hit the console. Now, how will you monitor that thing? Let us say whatever APIs you are using to call any service within AWS, how can you monitor that? Is there a way to monitor that also, or just the physical resources which are attached to your thing?
You will be having them, right?
Correct. So we have a different service which can monitor the API calls which we are making for the EC2 or any other AWS service for that matter, and that is called CloudTrail. So you need to understand CloudWatch is basically monitoring the resources for their utilization or any metrics, whereas CloudTrail is basically the API monitoring. Okay. So AWS CloudTrail is an AWS service that helps us enable governance, compliance, and operational and risk auditing of your AWS account. So because why exactly governance? Because you can see in the logs who has accessed what at what particular time in what particular zone. So any auditor, suppose if it comes to your organization and asks you, okay, is there any audit report for that? You can quickly pull up a CloudTrail report and show them. Okay. So as you can see, it is also mentioned that actions taken by a user, role, or any other AWS services are required as events in CloudTrail. So when we are using CloudTrail, we basically are seeing that different actions which are there. So all those will be recorded, because any connection you are making to AWS is basically through an API call. Even though we are using web console, then also in the backend it is making some API call, right? So CloudTrail by default is enabled on your AWS account, and when any activity occurs in the AWS account, that activity is recorded as a CloudTrail event. So suppose if you are clicking any service, if you are pushing some data to S3, if you're downloading some data from S3, so these all are basically what? These are all are your API calls or some system management calls which will get recorded in CloudTrail. And why exactly it is needed? Because it is needed because so that you can check whether your uh, whether your AWS account is properly maintained or not, whether the users who are supposed to use the AWS account only they are using or anybody else is using. Is there any malicious login into the AWS in your AWS, malicious activity in your AWS? So that those all things, and because of that only CloudTrail is used. And then because you are capturing all those events which are happening on your account, you can basically download them, you can archive them, you can analyze them and respond to any other account activity which you seems that it is some fishy activity or it is not as per what you have decided with the client. And we can integrate CloudTrail into different applications using the API and automate the trail creation for your organization. So basically you can integrate this like into dashboards like QuickSight or any other dashboard for that matter, and it will give you a visual representation of all your audit events. Is it fine now? Do you able to understand this thing? Let me show you the CloudTrail service also. So see, this particular trail is there, logging, CloudTC, CloudTrail. So you can see different CloudTrails are there, events are there. So let us pick up 2021. We have done some changes. Let us see if it has captured those or not. So these files which you can see are basically each one of them is an audit log. Let us download one and see what it shows us. Okay. So for bucket properties, it needs bucket versioning to also be enabled. So why this is needed? If anybody of you can, anyone of you can tell me. See, the ultimate advantage of having this type of console is from a single point itself, you have a consolidated view of everything within the machine. Correct? Then there is something called object location or drift side or drift side. What we were telling was whatever the audit event is there. So based on that, users basically demand the lunch, like for the So basically whatever API call we are making, so those all will be logged, and this we can download from here, and then accordingly check what all logs are there. This is access denied. Maybe I need to get access to this particular bucket, and then I can download this thing. Is this clear till now? Till this point, or you have any confusion? Is able to hear me?
So these are zip files, right?
Yeah, these are zip files. You can download them, and then you can unzip them and see what are they are holding up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thing? Okay. If there are no questions, then maybe you can go through. You can go through the emails and the snapshots which we discussed. You can go through this CloudTrail and CloudWatch. I'll share the deck also and the class notes also. Is there anything else you need from me on these on these things?
Yes, Subhan.
Yeah.
The question is a general question that if the customer choose SaaS, software as services, we don't need to do the CloudWatch and all that, right?
See, it depends on you. It is not a compulsion to use that. But if you want, there are ways to integrate any application with CloudWatch for that matter. Okay. Because logging can also be monitored. There are other things which also can be monitored. So it becomes easy for the administrators to manage everything from a single console rather than running behind different consoles.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other thing?
Shubham, this CLI, AWS CLI, other day I was trying, and since once I have configured it, I can use this. So it's configured once, and then I can use it later all the time, right? So isn't that a security flaw? Because now I don't have to use my secret key at all. Okay, I can just like that open my command, right, and do whatever I want.
Correct, you are absolutely correct and bang on the point. Now you tell me what can be the solution for this?
What can be the solution? It should frequently ask maybe to configure again and again.
See, the best solution can be basically you should not use access key and secret access key while communicating with the any other resource within AWS.
I see.
Okay, but how can you do that? Is it possible? If something is outside your AWS area or AWS thing, it is not possible, right? But if you are on AWS and if you are doing development, then no client can basically approve your request for having access to access key and secret access key. They will provide you a window or something where exactly you can put all the things, or you can tell them what all things you need, and accordingly they can do that.
Yeah, correct. Okay. Yeah.
Any other thing? Okay, if I think all are good, then we can close this call, and tomorrow we'll connect at the same time. Fine.
Yes.
Okay. So then,
Sure.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shubham.
Thank you. Bye.